Good Tuesday morning. So I took a couple days off from Snapchat and from most social media as I took some time off and celebrated our Memorial Day here in the States. So I had a nice long holiday weekend, but back to work today. Have a lot of things on tap. I'm going to be working on mentorship in organizations and how you can set it up without having it be overly formal. And I'm going to go back to the topic I was sharing last week about reflection. I listened to a podcast this morning that sparked an idea, and I'll share a little bit later. I have to kind of flesh it out a little bit. So lots to do today. I'll be chatting with you later. Earlier today on my morning walk, I was listening to a podcast by Michael Hyatt in his Lead to Win podcast. The podcast episode was The Power of Your Words to Shape Outcomes. And I truly believe this, that what you think comes your words. It kind of goes back and forth. It's this cycle between words and thoughts, and that eventually it dictates your actions, or it shows up in your actions. The reason this struck a chord with me is I've been thinking about how to support my organization and the things that we can do to support the individuals as well as the managers to find opportunities to learn, experiment, reflect on their learning, reflect on their daily work. What are they getting out of it? What new things are they learning that they can transfer into something else? And this podcast made me just stop and think for a moment and wonder how much we are perpetuating our habits through our words that we say in the workplace. What I mean by that is I often hear, I don't have time for learning. I don't have time for training. I don't have time to reflect. And as we keep saying that, then it's just this habit that's perpetuating. But what if instead we, myself, the managers, start to help the individuals that are saying that turn that around and talk about, instead of saying, I don't have time for learning, saying, I have 5 minutes today to reflect on my work, or something like that. Just a really kind of rough idea, and just something that popped into my head today that I'm not quite sure where I'm going to go. Wrapping up my day, reflecting on the conversations I had. And for me, it's all about the conversations. Thinking through helping people see how their words matter and making that shift in their words and what they say both to themselves as well as what they say to their team and out loud. That's done through conversations. Conversations with teams, conversations with individuals, conversations with managers, conversations with groups. And I think that's true for all of the things I've been considering and really reflecting on. Having conversations about reflection. It's the power of the words, and starting to have those conversations is my next step. So I've been strategizing how to have my conversation tour, and I think I shared a little while ago, that a couple days ago, that I'll be traveling more, and I'm going to add some time on to those trips to sit down and talk with people. So I really need to think about that and be strategic about it. So I'm getting a nice, having these conversations with a really wide group of people, different perspective, different lines of businesses, different levels in the organization, so we can start spreading the word and having more and more of these conversations. But yeah, just need to be really strategic about it. So I have to think a bit more on that and figure out, what does that look like, and how can I get these conversations to perpetuate so others are having conversations. Don't know the answer to that yet. Open to any tips that anyone out there may have about how to have these conversations, not just one-on-one, but on larger scale, so I can get the insights and the perspectives, as well as I can share the message at a scalable pace, meaning that it's not just 1-to-1, but 1-to-5, 1-to-10, 1-to-50, and then those perpetuates additional conversations. So a lot to think about and a lot to figure out, but I'm confident I'll get there, and I'll start my conversation tour in the next few weeks.